This is a 72-hour rye. As you can see, it's got a lot of bubbles. Probably hard to see from here, but it's got a lot of bubbles in there. I made it, let it go for 72 hours, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the future, or I just put it in the comments. But I let it go in the fridge for 72 hours, and then about 2 hours before I'm going to cook, I pull it out and let it come to room temperature. I'm just pulling it out right now. It's kind of stuck on the bottom, but generally I just try and get it out as a ball. So I'll set it on a floured counter, get a little bit of flour on my fingers, a little on top, and then right here I'm just lightly going to push it outward to start to form a disc. Turn it over a little bit and start to push it outward till I get a disc shape. Now once I've got that disc shape about this big, I'll start to stretch. You can see my fingers are here, and I start to stretch with my thumbs on the back, fingers in the front, grab and just lightly stretch. And I'm doing this about right here on the dough. I don't want it in the middle, I don't want it on the outside, I do it about right there. And just as I start to go around and work my way around, it will get a little bit larger and a little bit thinner. We've got kids in the house, so don't mind them. One apparently wants a drink after he's had his pizza. But that's all good. Everyone loves pizza. Family time when we have pizza time, right guys? We'll get your drink. Hold on. So anyway, you can see I'm just going around, pulling, moving it around. And I'm gonna get ready to set it here on my paddle right now, on my peel. And the best thing that you can get for this is this semolina flour. This is awesome. I'm gonna let her get him, well, maybe he'll be okay. I do a light dusting on the wooden peel. A wooden peel is an awesome tool to get as well. It keeps these pizzas so they slide into the oven, and then I'll just drape it right on there. Get it kind of round. Now today I'm making a pizza that I've never made before. And what I'm gonna do is take a little olive oil, and I'm gonna drizzle it right on this pizza base. Grab a spoon, start to spread it around a little bit so that the whole base is covered. Looks like I'm gonna need a little more olive oil. Awesome. All right, so the base is going to be covered with olive oil, and then what you can see right here is I've prepared some fresh blackberries. And I don't know what I'd call it. I'm gonna call it a mush. I've just taken a fork and I've mushed them up. So I'm gonna take those and I'm gonna lay them on top of that spread out olive oil. I don't want to get a ton of the juice on there right now, so I'm using that fork to try and help with that. Spread them out. Oops, a little spatter out there. And just spread them out like this. Great, that looks fantastic. Now I'm going to take a little bit of mozzarella, not as much as I would normally do on one of the pizzas, like a Hawaiian or a pepperoni or even just a cheese. Do a little mozzarella, and then I'm going to follow that up with some freshly grated Parmesan. So here's the Parmesan. Follow it up on there. And then I've got some freshly cut blackberries that I've just halved, and I am going to put them on top of the pizza. So here they are, and just set them down like this, pretty much randomly on there, no rhyme or reason to where they're going. And last ingredient that I'm going to put on there after the blackberries is going to be some ricotta cheese, and that will also be randomly placed on the pizza. Alright, so there we go. Rinse that off. So here is the ricotta. We're just going to do some dollops. go. We'll do a little bit right there. Maybe a little bit over here. Nice. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe one more small one right there. All right, and very last, I actually have some fresh basil. I'm not gonna put that on yet. We're gonna cook it. One thing that I failed to do on this one, what I try to do is to give it a little shake, and you can see I'm keeping that base moving so that it doesn't get too stuck, especially this pizza. It's a very moist one with the oil and with the juices and with that heavy cheese. Anyway, I like to do that to keep it moving, so I'm probably gonna squish these down just a little bit, hopefully keep them from rolling when we go and put it in the oven. All right, so here we go. We're gonna launch it in there. Get it so it's moving a little bit, get it toward the front, and slide it right off into there. And if you can see that the flames aren't huge right now. I don't want them to be huge, otherwise you get a lot of that sooty flavor. Once I get the pizza on, I let it go for about 15 seconds, and then I pull it out and I'll turn it about a third of the way, and then I will pull it out after about 15 seconds again, and then I will turn it. So we'll let it go for just a few more, and then we'll pull it out and turn it, and we'll check it. Didn't quite get under it like I wanted. There we go. Give it a pivot, give it a turn, about a third, and then slide it back in. And you can see this is actually one of the uni pizza pills. I had a uni 3, I don't know, for a couple months, and it was fun, it was good, but I didn't feel like I could maintain the fire because it had this tiny little fuel chamber, and it was only pellets, and I was constantly having to put fuel in and put pellets in. This one I love because it's got a huge fuel chamber back here. I can do charcoal, pellets, wood chunks, and I feel that I don't have to worry so much about fire management. Oh, and it looks like we've actually got a tear on this one, unfortunately, on the bottom. Let's pivot a little bit more. Give it a little bit of a push right there. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, you can see it's torn. The base actually stuck because I needed to come out and put wood on. I didn't do it soon enough. All right, so unfortunately, I had to get some more wood on the fire while we had a transition between putting the pizza on. So it ended up sticking to the stone because it got so wet because of what was on there. The dough was pretty wet, but when it comes off, I'm gonna throw a little fresh basil on here. We're gonna see how that goes. I'll let it sit for just a minute or so. Let it almost wilt on there, and then cut it and give it a taste. Sure smells good. Okay, so what you can see is we've got a little bit of remnant from that base that's stuck on there. However, we've got an awesome tool here, and Alan, I apologize, but Alan Teddy, he makes these amazing, very sharp little scraper. You can take it, stick it right in there, and just pull forward, and there you go. You've got all of this residue from the previous pizza, especially the last one where that crust ended up getting a hole, getting too stuck to the peel. We'll let it burn off a little bit more, and I'll come back out in a few minutes and give it another scrape. Here we go. We've got the blackberry, basil pizza. First shot. That's really good. I like the sweetness, tartness of the blackberry and the basil with that. I do think I would use less ricotta cheese next time. I like ricotta, but I feel like I do a little bit less, maybe even a little bit more Parmesan. But it's good. I'll probably give it a shot in the future.